for getting a late start, but welcome to Waking God's Child. We're talking about Morgellons and staying in the fight. This evening we have Candy Nelson with us again, guest host, and we're going to be discussing Morgellons nanotechnology. So with that said, Candy, last week we kind of talked about some things and about a certain doctor that came on discussing some things that were going on with the roller up your sleever vials. So do you have anything that you'd like to add to that as far as where we left off there?
Well, I guess what really aggravates me is, yes, we all want Morgellons to be recognized, okay?
Right.
But different people have different ways of viewing it. And some people believe that there's nanotechnology and GMOs involved in it and chemtrails, and some do not.
Right.
But we're still all want to reach the same other side of the forest. We all want to get to the other side of this to have it
Exactly.
recognized.
Yes, you call that
But
right.
when but we're not all exactly the same. We're not all going to think the same.
That's right.
So I don't get how some people can be so bound and determined, and it's like ridicule and condemn people for thinking a different way, because if it has not been acknowledged, then it's not proven what it is or what it is not. So no matter what each individual thinks of where it originated from, yes, we all want it to be recognized, but until it actually gets recognized, until they haven't come up with a cause, and even if they did come up with a actual real cause, me personally, I would not trust that. Is that a conspiracy? Is that a crazy conspiracy? It might
Exactly.
be, but we've been lied to and deceived for so long. How can you trust, okay, well, yeah, it's this or it's that, it's a fungus, it's a mold, it's a tick-borne illness, it's from chemtrails, it's from GMOs. You know, it's a matter again of standing in your own truth,
Right.
and I know when I got fibers sticking out of my damn arm that reacts to sci-fi music, you know, then something's wrong there. Or when I have, fibers that get in my hair and literally crawl and jump across the damn floor, and like the lady said in that video last week, it seems to have a mind of its own. So
Right.
how can you say that there's no nanotechnology involved? And even if you don't believe that, how can you call us crazy conspiracy theorists, when you're supposed to be in the same situation we are?
Right. Right. And everyone's
And
experiencing it is different, but I mean, quite the
exactly.
same.
And one chick, I ain't gonna say her name, but she comes out, and says that she wants to create a safe space for everyone, but yet turns around and calls us crazy conspiracy theorists.
Yes.
That's not creating a safe space for everyone.
No, that's
You
just
know?
torturing us a little more that we've already, got from the general public.
And even says, oh, well, where you can be, not have to worry about gaslighting or shaming, but yeah, you just did that. You just did that. So how can you can't justify that? And so it makes you where you're angry and you want to fight each other, and that's what this crap is all about, fighting each other. And it's like, okay, just because you might think it's from mold or fungus, or what is that other thing that they're saying, it's some kind of, it starts with a P or something like that, they're trying to say oh, I wish I could think of the name of it. If Debbie Reiki's on here, she'll know what it is. But it's this new thing that everybody's pushing, that it's Morgellons is the same as this whatever. I can't I can't remember what it's called, but I will try to think of it and I'll post it in the comments later. I will get it.
Okay. Oop. I don't know
So,
what
but
happened there. Hold on.
yeah.
Trying to get you back. Hold on one second. I don't know what just happened. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay.
did you hear the part what I was saying about everybody's calling it this P thing, whatever it is?
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what they mean by, what are they saying by that? Like, what are
I
you,
will put
what is it that
I
you're
will put
thinking
it
it is?
I will put it in the comments.
Okay.
It's an actual disease, and there's a billing code for it.
Huh.
But like, and it's the same thing. Like I was in a prurigo nodularis group because I was diagnosed with prurigo nodularis a long time ago, which
Right.
prurigo nodularis is considered to be picker's nodules. Otherwise, you're doing it to yourself. You're causing these nodules because you're picking your skin, which is bullcrap, you know? So, you know, that's another cover diagnosis. So when I was in the Perigo group, I said to them, I said, okay, this is, these nodules are what produce these fibers, it's Morgellons. And I was trying to convince them that, it's like, no, it's the same thing we have, it's Morgellons. And they got mad at me, and they're like, okay, we have a diagnosis. You got a mental problem. So you don't have the same thing we do. We have a diagnosis. So, and just totally shame me for showing them nodules that had fibers growing out of the roots. And so I'm like, again, I think it's like we all have the same thing. You can call it prurigo nodularis, you can call it skin cancer, you can call it glyphosate poisoning, you can call it Skittles pox. It doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter what
It's
you
all
want
the
to call
same
it.
damn thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Man, my
So,
thing is not working for some reason. My video isn't working, so I apologize.
yeah, can you hear me though still? Can you still hear me?
I do hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Just for whatever reason, I'm not going to show up on here if it's doing something weird. Wildman says, "Hey girl, I made it to you live stream." So hi Wildman, thank you for being here. I can actually see that because I have my big screen TV going too. So thank you for coming. And then Sam Walker says he's here. They erased it off of his Facebook page. He said everything. So Sam Walker knows what you're talking about with the erasing things and pictures missing, stuff like that. He's gone through all of that too.
Oh yeah, I had so many videos on my Facebook page with those fibers coming out of my, on my arms and my legs, and
Right.
you know, on my notes, because I had my notes, and that my notes were public, and I would put stuff out there about home remedies and different things that I had done to help myself, and I had it all public. Well, Facebook came out a few months back, and they said, if your notes are not public, we're going to be removing them. So I thought I was safe because they said if your notes are not public, we're going to be removing them or archiving them. So I thought I was safe. And it's like, so I didn't even worry too much about it. And then the next thing you know, all my damn notes are gone, everything. So what I had to wind up doing was I went in groups and I tried to search where I had shared it in groups, and I managed to copy and paste and put them in Word files. But I'm like, how ridiculous, It's like you said as long as they were public, they were safe, but no, they lied. Are we still here? Can anybody hear me? I don't know what happened to Lisa.
Can you hear me now?
I can
Hello?
hear you. Hey.
Okay. I don't know why. Okay, hold on. I am doing something like it's not me. I mean, you know how this goes. See, like I got a black screen next to me, so apparently that is how I feel today. I feel very bleak. So, um, but yes, I'm here. So you carry on. I was saying the same thing with Sam and myself and so many others. Seem like they lose their, things that they save. That are very
We
very,
worked so hard on it.
what's that?
I said we worked so hard on, putting stuff together and putting it out there, making it public to try to help people. And it's like, the hell? And then I don't know if I told you about, I was in that one Facebook group that, like, I just thought for sure, it's like I found my group. The woman that started it asked me to be an admin in the group. I was an admin for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And, I'm a little more, what did she call me? She said, you're a little bit more militant than I am. Well, when she said that, what she was talking about is when people come out there, they troll or they come out there and try to make us look stupid, or they're screenshotting. They're in a closed group, and they're saying they have Morgellons, and you're coming out there and you're trolling, and and you're screenshotting and you're doing stuff to make people look bad. I was on it like, stink on rice. It's like I had to handle it and get rid of them, and handle the situation. And so, and then I had another friend too, God bless his heart. I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he wants me to, but he would pick up on people that were trolling, and he would call them out. And he and I are very close, and he would call them out, and he would like kind of pick at them and to get them to expose themselves. And then once they did, then he would tag me in it, and I'd take care of it. But it's like, it's a crazy world. And you think that these people really have the same thing, and they portray themselves as being, in the same boat. And next thing you know, it's like, and you trust them, and then they turn on you. It's like, I went back out to my group one day, and, I was adminning, and she started the group. I'm adminning, and we Skyped all the time back and forth. And, I felt like I was very, very close to her. She was the first one I called my soul sister, you know? And I'm like, next thing I know, I go in the group, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, what the hell? Well, before that, she was said that she was going to close the group out, and everybody was like, please don't do that, because we had over 1,000 members. Please don't do that. And she's like, well, I just don't want to be a part of this anymore. And she's like, well, if you want to take it over, talking to me, she's like, you can have the group, you just have to change the name of the group. So I went out, I did a poll. I was like, okay, what you guys want to name the new group? And so they came up with a name, which was Finding Hope with Morgellons. And we changed the name. Well, the lady that didn't want to be in the group anymore, she still continued to stay in there. And I thought, okay, so she was the primary admin because she started the group. She still stayed in the group after she said she was going to leave. And then, so that went on for a few months, and I was just kind of watching. She wasn't actively involved. But then one day I went in to go into the group, and the whole entire group was gone. It was completely gone. And I'm like, what the hell? So I go to her page, and she's like, oh, well, she said, I shut down the Morgellons group that I started years ago, and this was on her own page. And so I messaged her, and I said, why would you do that? And she's like, oh, well, you just need to not worry about this anymore, and just think about healing. And I'm like, there was over 1,000 people in that group. It was a closed group. We were, we cared about each other. We had files, we had pictures, thousands of pictures and files, and all of that was completely gone. And
Wow.
she just wiped the whole, sorry,
That's,
effing thing
yeah,
out.
everything up.
And then it's like, oh, well, please don't be mad at me, and please don't talk badly about me out on Facebook. You know what? And I'm like, you know what? I ain't taking the fall for what you did. I had people calling me crying, it's like, what happened to the group? So, I told them, I was like, it wasn't me. I didn't choose that, and I was like, what are we going to do? Because they're all asking me, what are we going to do? Those were our soulmates. We were helping each other. We had files, we had pictures, all my stuff's gone. I'm like, only thing I can tell you, the only thing we can do is make it a public group and give it the same damn name. And hopefully some of them people will find us again, and it's like, wow. So we had to start over from scratch, you know? And I'm like, how could you do that to all those people? How could you? And then come to find out, she's up the, what do we call it? The New Morgellons Order nonprofit now, up there, Earth. So I'm like, I saw somebody had told me about comment, she was commenting out there and with them, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? Was you really there all along, and you just pretended, you just faked your way through that shit for like 3 years? You know? I don't get it. I don't get it. You hurt a lot of people. I don't know if you're still there or not, but I guess I'll keep talking just in case anybody can hear me. But it was very heartbreaking, and like I said, I had people calling me just boohoo crying. Where is the group? What happened? I'm like, you know what? What don't kill you makes you stronger. I'm like, we just have to go public with it. That's all we can do.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Did
Thank
you
you.
hear me talking about
I
that group?
heard you. Yes, I was trying to speak, and
Good.
the whole thing was acting up again. I wanted to say hi to Sharon Johnson and Ruth Elizabeth also.
Hey, Ruth. I know
Yeah,
Ruth.
they're all here. So,
So, but to,
oh
to
my.
take away so many people's lifeline and just think it's like, oh, well, it's no big deal. A lot of us are friends already anyway. And I'm like, well, you're not my damn friend no more. I didn't block
Right.
her, but I unfriended her.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to keep your own peace, your inner peace, and whatever you have to do that, I think is really important. Um, that's not making our lives any easier doing those kind of things. It doesn't even make sense, It doesn't even
Yeah.
make sense.
If you didn't want to be a part of it, why not just leave, and let everybody else do what they had to do to continue to be there for each other. But to get rid of all the files and all the pictures and all the videos,
Right.
what? I don't get that.
Why? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is a troll, but I don't know. I mean, there's been some odd behavior. Like the rest of the world that's sleeping is pretty odd to me, but um, makes you wonder. You guys want this little? Anyone want this little baby here? Rescue. Just got rescued 2 nights ago. Yeah.
Oh,
All you gotta do is come get it, little girl. So she's like trying to tackle my hair while we're talking right now. So, with that said, with the nanotechnology portion, would you have a lot of people have questions about it, and I know we have some viewers on here that do not have or are not showing symptoms because you and I both know how this goes. But people keep saying, "What do you look for? What are you looking for?" And I guess we just need to continually describe that. So you want to take that from the top there?
well, I ran across a video one day where they were talking about nanotechnology and they were showing pictures of their different methods of nanotech. And I was sitting there looking at those pictures and I was like, oh my God, I got a picture of that. Oh my God, I got a picture of that. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this video and they're showing these different weird pictures of stuff that was nanotechnology. They claimed it as nanotechnology, and the agencies that was funding this project was the FDA, was the World Health Organization, the Division of Forestry, and again, um, the American Medical Association. I mean, every damn government. Oh, the Department of Defense, the Department of Energy, and so all of these agencies was involved in this video I was watching about this nanotechnology. And so when I'm sitting there looking at the pictures that they're showing, I'm like, I got a picture just like that. So it frustrated me so badly that because we get denied that nanotechnology is involved, I would actually pause the video and I screenshotted their picture of the nanotech that they were showing. And then I went back, and later on, I went back to my own Facebook page and my own pictures, and I post theirs, and I would post my lookalike just right after that. And then I post theirs, and I post my lookalike. And one of them was called Buckyballs. A nanotechnology is called Buckyballs, and it's this conglomeration of, well, they actually have it in front of Universal Studio, the big ball with the links that link it together. I got fibers out of my skin like that, you know? And I mean, I got the picture to prove it. So how can you say nanotechnology is not involved in this? I got um, neon colored specimens that came out of my nose and my eyes, and with purple and green and blue and I mean orange and all these psychedelic colors. I've also got, what is that other one? Oh, the graphene nanotech. I've got several samples of that came out of my body, and I can prove that. It's like, okay, you just showed me a picture of what you're saying is nanotechnology, and I'm showing you a picture of something that came out of me that looks exactly the same. It might be a different color, but the patterns and everything is still the same. So how can you say that I'm a conspiracy theorist or crazy conspiracy theorist because I got the same damn pictures, you know? Just because you don't get a scope and you don't look at what the hell's coming out of your body and you don't want to document it because you're worried about what somebody's going to say about you or how they're going to treat you or if they're going to call you a crazy conspiracy theorist, that's your shame. It's not mine, you know?
You know
I
what's
mean,
aggravating though? Um, that video I just made showing all of like comparing mine to what was found in the vial for the,
yeah,
and they took it down immediately,
yeah.
immediately. And I had every comparison up there. But what does that tell you when YouTube is yanking this down, yanking this crap down because they don't want anyone to see? I mean, tells you there are some very dark people and dark things at work. It's ridiculous. I mean, it was down within 24 hours, and I can't put it back up. I got a strike against me, but they always take down my ones that are speaking truth. But I mean, it's all stuff people know about. It's like, why are they taking these down? Because it has to do with Morgellons, or I mean, it makes you wonder. It's sad. It's so sad.
Well, and like I said, that one video, it's like I'm sitting there videotaping this fiber, and the sci-fi music comes on, and all of a sudden the thing starts like break dancing and doing flips and freaking out, and it's like looking around, and I'm like, holy crap, man! Yeah, I got that on video. And then the other time when I was telling you, I went into town, drove down, went into town, did some shopping. I was coming back home. I'm in my neighborhood, probably about half a mile from my house. And I pull up to the stop sign and something just told me, look out your driver window. And I look out my driver window and there's a fiber going across my window. I had a big van and it was not there before because, like I said, I was in and out of my van. It just happened when I stopped at that stop sign. And just, it's like I felt targeted that day because something told me something just happened. You need to look. And I looked, and sure enough, there was a fiber. So I started following it with my eyes, and the thing went across my driver window, all the way across the front of my van, my windshield, my front windshield, and all the way around to the passenger side. And I was like, holy crap, that just happened. So I drive down the road to get away from the stop sign. I pull off the side of the road and I climbed over into the passenger side, opened my passenger door, and I got out and I started following it with my eyes. It wrapped around my rear view mirror or my side mirror on my passenger side, all the way across my front windshield, down past my driver's window, all the way to the very back of my van. And I had a Dodge Grand Caravan. And I'm like, holy crap. So, yeah, of course, I mean, I was at that point, I was so angry that this thing was so huge. So I reached up and I grabbed it with my fingers and I just started pulling this thing off my vehicle. And as I'm pulling it, it's like flopping in the wind. I mean, this thing was probably 15, 20 feet long. And I'm pulling it. I was trying to not break it, and I get all the way around to the passenger side, and and I videotaped it. I'm like, this is crazy. And I had so many people, oh, it's just a spider web. No, you know, not one single strand of spider web that's 15 or 20 damn feet long that just happened to wrap itself around my van when I stopped at a stop sign in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen them coming from the sky, falling, like literally just falling by the dozens and covering yards. But I found a huge fiber bundle yesterday in the yard. I was like, what the crap is this? Like, why is this happening? Like, they can't say it's not because I mean, I've got every specimen and I keep a lot of them. Kind of stopped doing it as much as I used to. because it's just like it's just another day in paradise or hell
Well,
actually. But
and another thing too is I was telling somebody the other day, anytime when you got a big storm, we're in Florida, we get a lot of hurricanes. Anytime there's a big storm coming, they know that there's a big storm coming or there's a hurricane coming. Guess what? They're spraying the hell out of the damn sky before that storm. Okay? So we had to evacuate one year. I believe it might have been 2004 because the storm was so bad. It was, I forget which one it was. But anyway, so we evacuated and so we came back and, power was out and, I'm like, didn't have any air conditioning. It was hot. So I decided I was going to take a drive around the neighborhood and just see the damage and everything that was done. Got a lot of farmland around me. I'm driving, and I'm not lying. All the farms was completely saturated in cobwebs. They were going from one telephone pole to another. I videotaped it all. I wanted to vomit. I'm just, because again, when they know a lot of rain's coming prior to, they spray. Because guess what? What goes up must come down. And what do you think that rain does? It helps bring it down.
that's exactly. And I know that there's some people out there that are just learning about Morgellons, but I know that you guys surely have noticed these fiber-looking things. Some of you surely have seen them that have a mind of their own. But even coming from the sky, you see them on the ground sometimes. You'll see them everywhere. I mean, keep your eyes out. You'll see, it looks like maybe it might, and I can see why people say, "Oh, it looks like a dog fur or a sweater, string or fiber." But watch them. They move. They move. I mean, I have sprayed my MASKSs with I guess Lysol is what it was, and held it in the sun, and my gosh, these things just came flying out, moving around, and it is no joke. It is no joke, and we have no reason to lie. There are thousands of us global wide experiencing this, and we don't know each other. We didn't just one day wake up and be like, I want to say that little sweater fur over there is just moving on its own. Like, that's a stupid thing to say. It's doing it. I mean, we're saying it because it's doing it. It's that simple, right?
Yeah, I went outside one day and there was an ant, and I was watching this ant, and it was almost like the ant was having seizures or something, and it was really freaky. And I was like, "What the heck is that ant doing?" So, I pick him up and I bring him in the house and I put him up underneath the microscope and I scoped this ant just to see what the heck was going on. And I kid you not, again, I got a video of it. It's like there was a Morgellons fiber attached to the ant. And the ant and this fiber were literally fighting each other. This ant was fighting for its life. And this fiber was just like attacking it. Like, when I showed you the one about the sewing machine, when the threads from the sewing machine was like attacking me like a snake.
Right?
And when I saw that little ant, he's like fighting for his life. And this fiber is just like, I mean, they were just like,
Yeah.
and I'm
I've seen
like,
it too, and I've seen them kill bugs and animals and see these fibers spring out of like grasshoppers, like just spring out of them after they take their lives. But the grasshopper continually moves as if it's still alive, but it's gutted. But these fibers stay inside of it doing that. So, yeah. Oops. Are you there?
so, well, and again, my point being is like, okay, well, if it's not in the chemtrails, then why is there, that's another thing that the Morgellons New World Order nonprofit 501c3, they will say that Morgellons resembles digital bovine dermatitis, right? Which they get like um, lesions and around their hooves, and they got these fibers in their hooves. And so, but if you think about it, what do cows do all day? They stay in the pasture. They walk around, they eat the grass. So guess what? Where the hell do they think the damn digital bovine dermatitis comes from? Well, that's actually considered a disease. So, what happens is these cows are in the pasture, they're eating it, they're standing in it, it's getting on their hooves. Well,
Yep.
then those cattle, they go to get slaughtered and they go to the market. And We eat us a nice fine steak, and guess what? You know,
Two.
it's like, holy
Yeah.
moly.
Oops. Yeah. 1 + 1 = 2, though. It's like, come on now. Jeez. I am like,
Lost you again if you're still there. So, yeah, it's like, okay, digital bovine dermatitis is a real thing,
exactly.
but Morgellons is not. I'm like, okay.
It's like, make up your mind.
I'm sorry, and I love it. I love a good sirloin steak, you know. I'm like, but it's like, okay, let me figure out how to detox after I eat this steak. You lose you? All right, what else to talk about, being how she's not here? I don't know what's going on. I can't see the comments, so for y'all that are commenting, I cannot see them. I'm on my cell, and it's like they're really super small. Let me see if I can scroll up or something and see.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry. This
Oh,
is like,
Ruth Elizabeth says, I hate how they weave into your clothes so freaky. Well, you know, we've talked about this before with clothes. It's like the tighter the weave of clothing that you wear, the harder it is for the fibers to stay and harbor in there. So if you buy like silk or satiny or rayon and stay away from the cotton, because, you know, 90% of cotton is genetically modified, but the cotton's got a looser weave to it as well. So the fibers can get in there and they can stay in there better. With the tightly woven threads, they cannot. And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but, you know, I recently got into buying bamboo jeans, which they have them at Ross. They run anywhere from $9 to $12 a pair, and it's a whole different feeling than cotton jeans.